Hi, my name is Angel, and my topic is family separations are increasing at the border. So, as a kid, have you ever been lost or anything like that at a store? I know I have, and once when that happened, I was really depressed. I was crying, but I was little. But despite that, I found somebody that helped me, and I found my parents. But imagine the kids that are at the border living this nightmare day to day, on a day to day basis. It shouldn't happen at all, But why is the government separating these families? No one really even knows. At least 2,000 kids have been separated from April 18th to May 31st of this year. And the children, instead of being sent to a detention facility with their parents, they're sent straight into foster care, and the parents are sent straight in jail unless they have any felonies or anything like that. Then they got to do prison time, and the parents shouldn't be separated from the children. Just that's the bottom line. And my source for that was Vox.com. We'll now look at the different causes that are separating families and how they're being handled by our government. Number one is that there's no policy that states that families have to be separated, but what there is that they have to be prosecuted. And like I said before, if once they get prosecuted and separated from the children, if they have any felonies or criminal past, then they will be taken into custody and have to do prison time. But in case that doesn't happen, then they're taken into detention centers, and the people are held in a facility and taken to a judge for a verdict. And depending what happens there is depending the future of the case. If they're running away from violence, stuff, whatever's happening back at home, then they give special permission or a visa to stay here, but they have to continue going back and forth to court. And Trump is using immigrants just to get the Democrats' attention to make immigration laws. I'm not a Republican, but I kind of agree with this that they're using the immigrants. They're like overcrowding them. They're doing this to them so that the Democrats who don't agree with Republicans they come together and make up a new law, which is I would say would be a better solution if both parties just got along. And the source for that was CNN Politics. The new laws that have came in is a zero tolerance policy that Jeff Sessions put in that separates families and send all border crossings from anybody that's been crossing the border for criminal prosecution. And even though they consider it not necessarily crossing the border, but if they have any kids with them when they're crossing the border, then it's considered smuggling children. And it sounds bad, but that's how the law is, and that's how the state interprets it. So if a child is smuggled, you'll be prosecuted, and the child will be taken by law, and they can do whatever they want with them, whether put him in by CPS, find him a new home, which the kid probably wouldn't be the best idea because they won't know anybody at all. And but the main thing they do is take him into foster care, and whatever happens to the parents happens, and they either see him again, reunited, or they don't at all. My source for that one was Time Magazine. Many families have been separated, but how many? Well, according to Vox magazine, well, at least 2,700 families have been separated, and it's growing to this day. And it's a really big number if you consider it. Depending how many members you have in each family, it's not necessarily like one person for each family. It's a family is makes up of 10 people, maybe even more than that. We'd never know. Some of my main points, that they're living in unhealthy conditions. Then have caused kids to die from dehydration and starvation. I don't know if you watched the news recently, but some kids have been dying in there, like literally dying from dehydration and starvation. Recently, I saw this story about a kid that he got separated from his father, and his father was waiting. He was about to get released from prison, but once he got released, he came to know that his son died. Why? Because of unhealthy conditions at these camps, at these detention facilities, if you want to call them that. And that's not the only problem. Yeah, they're getting into facility, in case once their parents are gone for prosecution, whatever, then they'll come back. And but the thing that you should know is that these facilities are overcrowded and they're creating unsanitary conditions, and people are complaining about the food and not getting hydrated, and most of them are being Honduran because you've seen the news. There's a caravan that went from Honduras all the way to Tijuana, and some of the Central Americans just dispersed around the Mexican state. And so yeah, but most of them are being Central Americans in those overcrowded facilities. My source for that was the San Diego Free Press. Um, all of these reasons I talked about are just one of the few main reasons of the separation of families that are occurring. And In conclusion, one of my review points that I'm gonna go over is basically bottom line, as I've repeated it several times in this speech, is that all these families are getting separated. They shouldn't be doing that. Like, how would we like it if we were separated from our family? We wouldn't like that at all. But since they're immigrants and we don't care about them, then nobody wants to do anything about them. And my opinion, I think they should make new laws. Just like I stated earlier, they need to make new laws. Instead of spending billions of dollars on a wall. Why not just use that money to make an immigration reform and make these people stay here and make a better life? That's what everybody wants. Make a better life for the children. If we were on the other side and there's violence, drugs, killings, people that see all this stuff, just bodies everywhere, then we're probably going to want the best for our children and do whatever it takes. And that's basically it. The final solution, they just got to make new laws, and if they can't make any new laws, then what they should do is make a bigger facilities for more immigrants and have better food and living sanitary conditions. If you have unhealthy food, we how would you like if you were served raw food, but you're probably going to eat it because there's nothing else to eat. Because if you don't eat it, you're going to starve and die. So, yep, that was it. That was my conclusion. I hope you like it, and thank you.